Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing this updated bridal makeup tutorial. It's been a long time since my last one, and this month marks my 2-year anniversary here on YouTube, which is nuts. I can't believe I almost went all of May without even saying that. I don't even know where time's going anymore, but I am planning a giveaway. I'm just finalizing all the little details, and I will most likely have it up in my next video. I have a lot going on in the month of June. It's about to be nuts for me, so bear with me if my upload schedule is a little all over the place. I'm gonna try and be good about it, but everything popped up so last minute for me, including moving, which leads me to one little thing I wanted to fill you guys in on, because a lot of you have been commenting on the white backdrop. Some of you like it, some of you don't. I'm gonna stick to this for now until the move and maybe a little after, just because it keeps everything really neutral while I'm packing stuff up and moving things around. I might also film in any other part of the house that still has like a cool vibe to it. Just wanted to give you guys those updates so that you're in the know. Maybe I'll do a get ready with me video next and just chat with you guys a little more. So yeah, if you guys are interested and want to see how I create this look, keep on watching. The first thing I'm gonna do is prep my skin with the Kim Tai Ofra Wonderlust Moisturizer. This is great for all skin types. If you're more towards the oily side and are afraid of a creamy moisturizer like this, I highly recommend more of a gel-based moisturizer. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. I'm not going to apply my primer yet because I am gonna do the eyes first. And I feel like whenever I do the eyes first, if I get fallout, I end up wiping away the primer, which kind of defeats the purpose. So just moisturizer for now, primer later. I'm gonna fill in my brows first with my Dior Show Brow Styler in the shade Universal Dark Brown. I messed up and got the wrong color. Usually I use Universal Brown, not Universal Dark Brown. But before I do that, I'm gonna apply a little bit of the foundation I'm gonna be using around the brows. So that way I don't have to mess with that area later when applying my foundation. And lately, I'll get more into this as I apply my foundation, but I've been loving a matte foundation with a super luminous dewy foundation. The combination just lasts a really long time. It gives a really flawless satin finish and it really doesn't move. So I'm gonna be using Urban Decay's All Nighter Waterproof Long Wear Liquid Foundation and also the Urban Decay Naked Skin. And I just like applying it around the brow, and then I grab a sponge and blend it out. I'm also gonna dust some of my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder onto the brow. That way the brow pencil sticks and it doesn't slide or move around when you're trying to apply it. So I just pick up the powder and just lightly glide over the brow. I'm not trying to pack on the powder, just lightly sweep. And then we can fill in the brows. For the eyes, I like to prime them with a really lightweight, transparent eyeshadow primer and then apply my foundation on top. That way the eyeshadow blends into the rest of the foundation and your skin really seamlessly. I have been loving the Shadow Insurance by Too Faced because it's really lightweight. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that all over my lid and then apply that same foundation mixture on top of it. I'm just going to apply a little bit. Don't go ham on this step. You just need a tiny bit, enough to cover the entire lid, and then just blend it out again with that sponge. You also want to get that inner corner because if not, you might ruin it later when applying foundation. And then using that same Laura Mercier translucent powder, I'm just going to set from the brow bone down to the crease. I'm going to be creating what I consider to be a very classic bridal makeup look, something like this. Pretty much what you will find all over Pinterest when you search bridal makeup look. Very classic, clean, elegant, especially timeless, which is really important for your wedding makeup. I'm just gonna be using my Makeup Geek eyeshadows, which I have used on plenty of brides. They are great. And the first color I'm gonna use is Mirage by Makeup Geek. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that to the lid. You can also use this on the brow bone if you want, but I'm gonna keep the brow bone pretty matte. This is also gonna be the inner corner highlight, so you can do that now or later. I'm just gonna apply a little bit right now. And then using that same brush, the next color I'm using is Barcelona Beach. I'm gonna apply that to the crease, starting with the outer V and then blending it inward. So always start by placing your brush out here and then going in so that the most amount of color is out towards the outer V. And then I'm gonna build on that color by using Latte. These are all similar in tone. They have cool undertones, which I find to be very flattering for bridal makeup looks, they go with pretty much every skin tone. Unless you're like super golden and tan, then I go for more of the warm tones. So I'm placing this one right underneath the transition color and blending it in. And then on the lash line and outer V, I'm going to be using my favorite eyeshadow for a bridal makeup look. This is Mocha by Makeup Geek. I like it because it's a deeper shade of brown, but it's still cool toned. So I'm going to use that same brush to just really focus it on the lash line and then blend it up towards the crease, but keeping it more towards the outer portion of the eye. And I'm just adding a tad more Mocha eyeshadow right to the lash line. It's going to create more of a smoky look when adding the black winged liner versus a sharp black wing. I'm just going to use a makeup wipe to get rid of the fallout. And then I'm going to add a wing using the Kat Von D Trooper. And for the winged liner, I'm using Kat Von D's Tattoo Liner. And the way I wiped away the fallout left me with a nice guideline for the wing. So if you have difficulty with winged liner, if you wipe your fallout in that direction, you can use that as a guideline for your liner. So liner and lashes are always really hard for me to do on camera. It's really awkward. So I'm going to start by creating the flit. And then connecting it. I need a cameraman for this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a couple of these Ardell lashes, the ones without the ball at the end, so they're called Not Free. They look like these. They just look more natural because that ball isn't visible when you apply them to your lashes. I'm using the Mega Flare in the medium length and then also just a few of the long length on the outer portion of the eye. These are also the most comfortable you can wear on your wedding day. It's like they're not even there. They kind of just fuse to your lash. You apply them and then forget about them the rest of the day. Whereas a strip lash can get a little annoying if it's poking you on the inner corner of the eye. They can feel heavy. So I always recommend individual lashes. And to apply these, you just need some black duo glue. I like to dispense a little right here. Let it get a little tacky. And with a pair of tweezers, you just pick up each individual lash and just lay them on top of your actual lashes and do this before mascara and then coat the falsies and your real lashes in mascara for a really natural look. Now I'm going to work on the rest of the face while I wait for the lashes to dry. I'm going to be using Urban Decay's De-Slick Primer just on the T-zone. This really helps to control oil, and I find that you touch up less when you prime your T-zone with this primer. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit down the center of the face or in the T-zone. I get the most oily right here around the nose. It pops up first. I'm just really working it into that area. And honestly, that Wonderlust moisturizer can work as a primer on its own. It's that good. But I'm gonna create an all-over glow using my Dewdrops by Marc Jacobs and my Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. I'm gonna apply this everywhere where I didn't apply De-Slick. So pretty much everywhere minus the T-zone. Especially if you're dry, you really want to focus this in those areas. Because of course, oil on the face can ruin the look of your makeup, but so can dry skin. If you've ever worn makeup on top of extremely dry, tight, textured skin, it never looks good. It feels, or it looks really crepey and textured. So just really hydrate any areas that might dry out as the day goes on. So for me, it's around the mouth. And then for my foundation, I'm again mixing the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, which is matte and long wearing, with the Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation, which is really lightweight, super dewy. Combining a matte foundation with a super dewy foundation gives a really flawless finish that is satin, not too dewy, not too matte, and also prolongs the wear of the makeup. So I've been loving this combo. I've also been loving Infallible Pro Matte and Pro Glow mixed together. And again, I will list in the description box other foundations that I highly recommend for a bridal makeup look. So I like to mix equal parts onto a little tray, I guess. I don't know what you would call this. Mixing tray. And then with a paddle brush, I just first apply it to the skin directly and then blend it out with a sponge. And when using a De-Slick primer, the one I applied to the T-zone, make sure you're not buffing or blending because that primer is extremely matte and it can really create texture if you try to buff around it. Once it sets, it likes to stay put. So from there, just glide on top and pat in any product. Also, I forgot to mention, a general rule for skin prep before the big day, don't try anything new 2 weeks prior. If you want to get a facial, if you want to exfoliate, if you want to try a new mask, try it a month before, see how it goes. Because the last thing you want to do is try something new 2 weeks prior and then have a really bad reaction to it. That's my general rule for events as well. I never try new masks the night before. Always give yourself like a month-long cushion just to be safe. And then if you know it works, you can use it 2 weeks prior to or even the same week as the big day. But definitely give yourself some cushion in case something goes wrong. The best under eye concealer, in my opinion, is the NARS Radiant Creamy. So I'm going to be using honey on the inner corners to brighten. This is why I shouldn't have applied any eyeshadow on that inner corner because I'm probably going to ruin it right now. Because this foundation has a pretty good coverage, I'm actually going to be using the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Concealer and Highlighter because it's really lightweight, just to highlight the center of the face a little more versus actually using a concealer to create coverage. Kind of reminds me of Touche Eclat by YSL. But it's really sheer. So it's nice if you're already using a full coverage just to create a highlight without piling on more of a coverage on the skin. And then to really lock everything in place, I'm going to be using that Laura Mercier setting powder and the damp sponge. This one's from Ofra. And I'm going to press the powder into areas that crease. And then with a large fluffy brush, I'm just going to lightly dust across the rest of the face. Again, with a matte foundation, I feel like it kind of sets itself. So you don't have to really pack on the powder everywhere else, just in the areas that crease. So that also includes the area around the nose and the laugh lines. And I'm actually going to be using the Lemare setting powder on the rest of the face. It's a little more forgiving. The Laura Mercier one can be kind of dry, but it's great for those creasy areas, just not on the rest of the face. I'm just taking a little brush and lightly dusting everywhere else. Now I'm going to bronze and contour using the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze in the shade Tantastic. This one comes in a limited edition packaging. I'm also pretty sure the color is completely different from the ones that come in the black packaging. The ones in the black packaging are more towards the orange side, so if you can get your hands on this one, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is so worth the price, it is incredible, and it is huge. And I also just like to pat my bronzer in, just to be safe and not to move any of the foundation around underneath. And the general areas to apply your bronzer are hollows of the cheek. Kind of do a little bit right here by the side of the eyes. A little halo on the forehead, jawline. You can add a little extra right here to disguise, you know, a little double chin action. And then you also want to go down the neck to connect the color of the face to the rest of the body. And I'm also going to be adding just a tiny bit to the sides of the nose. Now I can go back and finish the lower lash line. So I'm going to start by using Barcelona Beach and just applying that to the lash line, focusing it more towards the outer V. And then using a small angled brush, almost like a winged eyeliner brush, I'm going to apply Mocha, but just to the outer V, really close to the lash line, and then I'm going to blend it out. For the waterline, I have two different options. You can either do a matte nude, which will really open up the eyes, brighten them up. I highly recommend Pink of Me by Marc Jacobs. It's more of a pinky nude. And then the other option is a beige champagne colored liner, so one that's a little shimmery. This one is Marc Jacobs In the Buff Highliner. I'm going to use this one today just because I feel like it's going to add a nice little pop without being too much. And I'll swatch it on my hand so you guys can see. It's not silver, it's not a frost, it's like a nice little champagne. And then Pink of Me. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply In the Buff. These eyeliners by Marc Jacobs also stay on really, really well. They're not gonna move at all. I would use the black one to tightline, but I find that for wedding makeup, if you're gonna be crying, use the least amount of creamy black products around the eyes. Obviously we have liner on, but the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner stays on pretty well. And for mascara, I'm going to be using something that's extremely waterproof, My go-to used to be this mascara from NARS that got discontinued. That stuff would stay on you for days. It was impossible to get rid of. You needed like industrial strength cleansing oil or just coconut oil or something to get rid of it. But they discontinued it, and that was the one that was budge proof. So now I'm using Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, the waterproof version. So I'm gonna use this on my upper and lower lashes. I'm gonna be using the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Exposed. These really stay put, plus this color is a really nice dusty neutral pink. And for a highlighter, I'm using the Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer in shade 003. I love this one because it still gives your skin that glossy, wet, dewy look without it being too intense. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. And now that I'm done, I'm just taking a large fluffy brush and buffing across the entire face really lightly to just softly diffuse everything and blend it all together. And before using an actual setting spray, I'm just gonna use a hydrating mist to make this all sort of melt into the skin and look really natural. I'm gonna be using good old Fix Plus. Let's hope my mascara doesn't run everywhere. And for an actual setting spray, I'm using Chill by Urban Decay. And fun little fact, these setting sprays are actually made with Scandinavia, which has always been like the holy grail bridal makeup setting spray. So if you read the back of these bottles, it says Urban Decay by Scandinavia. So you know that this stuff works. So I'm gonna be completely filling in my lip with the Bite Beauty lip pencil in shade number 36. I absolutely love these lip pencils. And I wanna fill in the entire lip so that way when the lipstick does start to fade away, the liner will still be there. And for a lipstick, I'm using Laura Lee's collab with MAC. This is shade A27, and it's a matte formula. And I think this is like the perfect dusty nude pink. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this. All right, and here you have the final look. This lipstick is so perfect. Laura did a really good job at creating a neutral pink nude. If I didn't cover anything that you guys might have questions about concerning bridal makeup, how to make it last, touching up, things like that, comment down below so I can answer all of your questions. Also share this video with anyone that you know that is getting married and is doing their own makeup or is in the bridal party and doing their own makeup. This look is really suitable for anyone in a bridal party, including the bride, bridesmaid, flower girl. I don't know if the flower girl would wear makeup, but make sure to share it with them. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.